All right, UFC Qatar, Tsarukyan versus Hooker takes place this weekend, and I'm here ready with my predictions, man. Um, Look at this. No, absolutely no picture for either of these guys. Ridiculous. But let's get off to it. Marik Bujlo versus Daniel Freeman. Oh man. I'm taking Daniel Freeman, and I am actually very confident in it. Daniel Freeman has never been finished. So I do like that here. 84% finish rate. Um, and Daniel's a wrestler. You know, he's a wrestler with a Roman Greco background, so that's always good. He's strong. And I do like his striking, especially for heavyweight. I do like the striking of Denzel Freeman. I think he is pretty fast. I like his kicks. You know. Um, I just think that Marik Bujlo is awful. I just think he's awful. He's undefeated with a 100% finish rate, and obviously that looks good on paper if you're just looking at, his stats and all that. But he sucks, dude. He sucks. Like I watched his fights. And I'm thinking, dude, these are like some of the like. I was watching his fights and I was looking at his opponents. I'm like, dude, these are literally some of the worst fighters I've ever seen in my life. Like, I shit you not, I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if I walked into a Walmart and picked out a random dude inside Walmart and he could have the record that Marik has just based off of how awful his opponents were. I mean, they're awful, and they all of them just accept defeat, and they're just absolute bums and incapable of fighting. And if every single one of your wins is like that, I just can't trust you. Denzel Freeman has decent wins. Obviously, they're not the greatest, but they're better against opponents with decent records that show some sort of competence in the middle of the fight. So I can't pick Marik. I'm going with Denzel Freeman, man. He's just better. Moving on to Nurullo Ali versus Shamrock. I'm going Shamrock. And I know that Shamrock himself isn't the greatest, but he's only got one loss, 90% finish rate, and he's well rounded, but he does prefer to grapple, and his grappling is pretty good. Um, Aliyev, man, I'm telling you what right now, dude's got an 80% decision rate. If you pulled up a video of an MMA knockout or submission, just any MMA finish on your phone, and you showed it to Aliyev, he would ask you what the video is about. He has absolutely no idea what a finish is. He doesn't get them. He doesn't do damage. I just can't. I can't trust a fighter like that to win much. And obviously there are exceptions like Movsar Evloev, but Aliyev is not Movsar Evloev. You know, you have to do damage in this sport. You have to be a finishing threat to some degree in this sport, and Aliyev just is not that. He is just not that. Um, you know, but I will say though for Shamrock, he went to a decision in his last fight, I believe, and his opponent's record was 16-10. That is an abysmal record, and not someone you should be taken to a decision. So I am definitely worried of Shamrock. Um, but I mean he's got 91% finish rate, so he has the finishing potential here. Um, and the one thing I do like about Shamrock is even if he does get taken down and is on his back, he doesn't spend much time on his back at all. He has not spent much time at all in his MMA career on his back, and he's good at getting back up to his feet if he ends up there. So, you know, Aliev just Aliev just isn't he just isn't dangerous enough and doesn't pose enough of a threat for me to pick him, dude. I mean, I'm going Shamrock just based off the finishing potential alone. You know, Shamrock isn't gonna go out there and just get smushed. So, yeah. Moving on to Ismail Nurdiev versus Ryan Loder. Oh God. Yeah, I got Ismail Nurdiev, man. Ismail Nurdiev um, is a very well-rounded fighter. He can strike, he can grapple. Um, he he's got very well-rounded fight methods. He's got 12 KOs, 6 subs, 6 decisions. You know, and he's way better on the feet than Ryan Loder. I don't think Ryan Loder on the feet is anything at all to take note of. I think he is an awful striker. Ryan Loder can grapple. He's got D1 All American Wrestling, but his jiu-jitsu is garbage. Can't work his way around a submission to save his life. His striking is atrocious. Chin is kind of suspect. You know, one and one in the UFC, both by knockout as well. He's just not good. Um, and I know that Ryan Loder has like a ground and pound TKO finish right against that guy that everybody thought was gonna be a middleweight Yuri. What's his name? I don't know. I forgot. But I'm not worried about that. I think Ismail Nurdiev's got this in the bag. I think it's gonna be easy for him too. I don't see much resistance being put up by Ryan Loder, if I'm being honest with you. So Ismail Nurdiev is just better everywhere. That's just what it is. He's just better. He's gonna win. Moving on to Bekset Almacan versus Alexandre Topuria. I got Bekset Almacan. I don't rate Alexandre Topuria that much. Colby Thickness is not a good fighter, and he made it competitive with Alexandre Topuria. And Colby Thickness just almost lost to Josias Musasa. That is like that. Josias Musasa is one of the worst fighters in the UFC roster. And Bex Al-McCann is good, man. If you know, you know. He dropped Umar Nurmagomedov with a shot like behind the ear. Dropped him. And then he KOs what's the dude's name? The Irish dude on Team Chandler. There's no way I'm forgetting names right now. Brad Katona, yeah. He knocked out Brad Katona in like a few seconds. And Brad had never been knocked out in his whole career, so that was the first time ever. So it's always impressive when you finish somebody for the first time ever in their career. And to do it in seconds as well is very impressive. Bex Almacan is very nasty, man. He is such a good fighter, and Alexandre Topuria hasn't shown that yet. So, I mean, close decision to Colby Thickness, you know, and you have a loss in your record, 6-1. You know, all because your brother is the GOAT, man. Doesn't mean you can be good. So, Bex Almacan by knockout, round 1. Abdul Rahim Yagawa versus Rafael Kakera. I will never pick Rafael Kakera to win a fight ever. So I'm going with Abdul Rahman Yakiev. Where's my shit on him? Oh yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was gonna do research on Abdul Rahman Yakov. I was gonna watch some fights and do an actual analytic breakdown, but I seen his Dana White Contender Series fight where he knocked a dude out in like a few seconds, and he looked very fast, explosive, and powerful, and that is all I needed to know that he beats Rafael Kakera. Kakera was KO'd in the first round like 3 times in a row. Modestas Bukauskas did it. Someone else did it too. Hold on. Um, Evo Aslan did it, and dude, Ju- Julius Walker is fucking awful, awful man. Taking Kakera to a decision, gassing out and losing um, to Alonzo Menifield. Julius Walker is awful, and it sucks because he's a fun guy. He's funny, so he's awful though. And he couldn't finish off Kakera, and I think Rafael Kakera is finished. I think he gets knocked out in the first round by literally any capable light heavyweight. So, moving on, Alex Pereira versus Asu Almabayev. I'm going with Asu Almabayev. He is good. He is good. He's a good, well-rounded guy. He can strike. Wish he had a bit more pop in his shots though, but he really doesn't. But he can strike. He can grapple really well. He's coming off of a win against someone that I think is really good. Jose Ochoa, I think his name is. I think Ochoa is such a good fighter, beautiful fighter. He's got all the skills, and Asu beat him. It was short notice, but a lot of people win on short notice, so you know. And Alex Perez he used to be decent, but he has taken a back step in his career recently. He lost to Muhammad Makhayev, and he got injured and lost to Tatsuro Taira. So these are good names. He is losing to good people, but I think Asu Almabayev is just in that point of his career where he's undeniable right now, and if they keep putting guys like this in front of him, he's gonna beat him. I mean, you look at Alex Perez's recent career, lost at Tyra. He beat Nicolau, to be fair. He lost to Mokayev, lost to Pantoja, Figueiredo. Oh, man, but beat Formiga. Damn, Perez, his career doesn't look bad at all. A win against Formiga is really good. A loss to Figueiredo is not shameful. Pantoja loss, not shameful. Mokayev lost, not shameful. Beating Nicolau, you should beat Nicolau. Yeah. Perez is really good. He is really good. Mabayev also beat Nikolai. I, I'm still gonna go with Jose Ochoa. He's just younger, in his physical prime. You know, I think Asu Almabayev has got this. Alex Perez isn't fast on the feet. As Asu is fast, he'll outspeed him for sure, no issue. I just think Asu Almabayev is better, but it's gonna be a decision though, because finishing Alex Perez is only for the best. So Asu Almabayev will win a close decision, I say. Moving on, Nicholas Dalby versus Sagid. Oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna take Sagid. I really like Nicholas Dalby, and he's liked a lot of my tweets. So me and him are just cool like that. But I don't think I can pick him here. Um, Sagid's he's a Dagestani. 22-2 is his record. It's a really good record. Fast, powerful guy. Puts people out in the first round a lot of times. Trains with Khabib and Islam, and Islam just got that big win against JDM. Sagid is feeling very confident right now, being with this camp, and I'm sure Sagid, he's Dagestani, so I'm sure he's been training since he was 6 months old. You know, he hasn't he hasn't fought since 2022, so that could be something. He hasn't been in here getting dirty like Nicholas Dalby has. I do like the activity here of Dalby, but he just got KO'd badly by Randy Brown. But I just think that Sega he's a really clean striker. He really doesn't throw any strikes that he knows for a fact won't land. He has really good accuracy, and that's one thing that really, because Nicholas Dalby just got KO'd badly, and I just don't know how much I'm trusting in his durability here. Now, Nicholas Dalby did beat Gabriel Bonfim by knockout, and that is looking like a really good win here. Um, but I think that loss really leveled up Bonfim. So I don't think he was that good when he fought Dalby, but he's gotten much better since. he got taught a lesson from that loss. So, and Nicholas Dalby just is old. You know, he is old, and maybe if Nicholas Dalby was a former champion, I would consider picking him more. But he's never been to the top, even in his physical prime, and now he's older. And Sagid is younger. Um, I think he's gonna win. You know, I think Sagid's gonna win. By decision though, because Nicholas Dalby is a tough SOB, and I don't think that Sagid has power in his hands like Randy Brown does. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Sagid. I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce his last name. Sagid is Gakhmov. Moving on to Bogdan Grad versus Luke Riley. I'm gonna go with Luke Riley. He's very big, isn't he? Isn't he like super tall? 5'9" to 5'8", maybe not. I mean, I watched a fight of his, and he like towered over the other guy, so it made him look really tall. But Luke Riley, man, 11-0, friends with Patty, training partners with Patty Pimblett and Shamrock. He's another Scouser, and he's really good. He has a good strike. He's got good striking and grappling, and training with Patty. I do trust that because I think Patty Pimblett's really good. And I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't do too much tape watching on this because I had other stuff to do. But I'm gonna be honest. I just don't think that Bogdan Grad is that good. Like he's okay, obviously. But Bogdan Grad, I don't know. He just lost to Muhammad Naimov, didn't he? Naimov's decent, but I think Luke Riley would beat him. So I'm going with Luke Riley here. I just think that he's a cleaner striker than Bogdan Grad. He doesn't have the power that Bogdan has, but Luke Riley is a bit of a cleaner striker, and I think his grappling is also a bit better as well. So I'm giving Luke Riley the advantage everywhere the fight goes. So I think he's going to continue to be undefeated 12-0 after this. But Bogdan Grad's cool. There's probably some decent odds for him. Moving on. Tagir Lambekov versus Koichi Horiguchi. I'm going with Horiguchi, man. Just because I don't think that Tagir Lambekov is good. I'm picking Horiguchi strictly based off the fact that I think Tagir Lambekov is shit. He has already brought shame to the Dagestanis, and I feel like if he loses this one, which I think he will, he might mysteriously disappear, never to be seen again, because these Dagestanis can't have someone like this keep losing. He lost to Tim Elliott, which is not too bad. Tim Elliott is a good fighter. I don't know what his other loss is, but Horiguchi. I'm gonna just keep it real. Horiguchi beat Sergio Pettis, and I think Sergio Pettis is a better win than anything Tagir Ulanbekov has. Sergio Pettis if you don't know, he's a really good MMA fighter. He just doesn't fight in the UFC anymore, but he did at one point, but he doesn't anymore. I think he's currently the champion over at where is he the champion at? It's PFL, I think. I think he's a champion at PFL. But Horiguchi beat him, and I think that Sergio Pettis, if you put Sergio Pettis in the octagon with Tagir Ulanbekov, we would never see Tagir again, and Sergio Pettis would end his career. And Horiguchi beat him, and I know that picking fights shit off of that is not the best, but I don't think Ulanbekov is good, and I think that Horiguchi is. So I'm going with Horiguchi, man. 34-5 is a pretty good record. Moving on. Sergey Spivak versus Shamil Gaziev. I don't need to say much. Shamil Gaziev's going to win here. He's much better on the feet with power in his hands, and you're not going to grapple Shamil Gaziev. End of story. He ain't going to grapple Shamil Gaziev, and Shamil is bigger, more powerful on the feet, and with technically better boxing. I don't see a world in which Sergey Spivak wins this fight at all. I think Shamil Gaziev's gonna go in there and do whatever the fuck he wants. All right. Um, what was I saying? Shamil Gaziev is good, and Sergey Spivak is not on his level. You know, Shamil Gaziev is gonna beat him up. Moving on, Jack Hermanson versus Mike DeBeck Orobai. Again, I don't need to say much. Jack Hermanson coming down to welterweight. Why? After getting flatlined out cold by Gregory Rodriguez in a round, not even that long ago. To fight Mike DeBeck Orobai, an absolute assassin who can take a lot of punishment and is very dangerous himself. I think he's going to assassinate Jack Hermanson here. Jack Hermanson is a good fraud checker, but I just think he used to be, but I just think he's older now. I think that's over. I think the KO against Gregory Rodriguez is going to be awful for his career, bro. I think that just ended the shit for him. And he got KO'd badly, and he's cutting more weight to go down another weight class to fight another killer. I think he's going to smoke Jack Hermanson. I don't know if he's going to do it by knockout or by submission or what, but I think he's going to smoke. I don't think Jack Hermanson's got a shot, Just going to keep it real. I think Mike DeBeck Orobai is going to run through him. He's better on the feet at this point in his career. He's a better grappler, especially offensively. He's going to take him down, probably. Open up his face with elbows. Something. I mean, Mike DeBeck Orobai, I know he just lost. Oh, no, he just beat Musayev, but then he lost to Rebecki, which isn't too bad, I guess. And then he beat Brandner. Like, that's a good win. He beat Medic, Jack Hermanson's cooked, man. Mike DeBeck Orobai, I think, can do whatever he wants to do. So, moving on to Volkan Oezdemir versus Alonzo Menifield. I was so torn on this, dude. They both could so easily win this. Alonzo Menifield can touch that chin and put him out, but Alonzo Menifield gasses, man. He gasses out. But Volkan Oezdemir, he just beat Johnny Walker, and I think Johnny Walker would sleep Alonzo Menifield, man, badly. He beat Guskov? When did that happen? Oh, he lost to Nikita Krylov. Beat Paul Craig. Lost on Kalaev. He just went to a decision against Olberg as well, I'm going Volkan Oezdemir, man. I'm going Volkan Oezdemir. Because I do think that Alonzo Menifield is a bit chinny. A bit more chinny than Volkan is. And Alonzo gasses in every fight. He does have no gas tank. So I'm going to go with Volkan Oezdemir. Alonzo gasses. Volkan can keep a pace. And I think that Alonzo's a bit more powerful. So I definitely won't be surprised if he sleeps Volkan Oezdemir. But I think that Volkan Oezdemir can eat a good shot. Unlike Menifield. So I'm going with Volkan Oezdemir. And dude, Volkan does have dynamite in his hands. So yeah. I'm going with Volkan Oezdemir. Co-main event, Bilal Muhammad versus Ian Machado Gary. I'm going with Ian Machado Gary. And this is one of my most confident picks of the night. I think that Bilal Muhammad... Oh, dude. This is going to be such a hot take. I think Bilal Muhammad is shit. Bilal Muhammad, I have no idea how he made it to a title, and it'll always be one of the most bizarre things ever in the sport for me, because I don't think Bilal Muhammad is good at fighting. I don't think he's a good striker at all. He's not a good striker at all. He's got no power, like literally one of the most, like, there are flyweights with genuine more power than Bilal Muhammad. And Bilal Muhammad he's like not a finisher at all, to the point where it's embarrassing. Ian Machado Gary is quick on his feet. He's lightning fast. He's got good boxing, good kickboxing. He's got good cardio. He's not the most powerful or strong, and that right there could be his downfall here, because Ian Machado Gary is a vegan. He is a vegan, and I really don't like that for him. Because Ian Machado Gary had a locked in rear naked choke under the chin and all, behind the head, locked in on MVP. But he's a vegan. He doesn't have the physical arm strength to finish a choke. You know? And Bilal Muhammad is a bit physically stronger than Ian Gary because he is not a vegan. And but I think that Bilal Muhammad is a good grappler, sure. But I think it's easy to get up. I mean, look at the Jack Della Maddalena fight. How awfully he did in the grappling against Jack Della Maddalena. We just saw Jack Della Maddalena get grappled for like 23 minutes. Ian Machado Gary is good at getting up off of bottom. He just is. He knows what to do. People shit on Ian Gary because he is annoying. He is annoying as hell. I agree, but he just is a good fighter, whether you like him or not. And he is really good at getting up off of bottom position. We've seen it against Shavkat. You can't hold Ian Gary down that long. And I think that Shavkat is a way better striker than Bilal Muhammad. And I know he was touching up Ian Gary in some moments, but let's be honest here. Ian McGarry straight up outstruck Carlos fucking Prates for like 4 rounds in their fight. Bilal Muhammad, I'm not even joking, Bilal Muhammad couldn't even dream of being 100 levels below Carlos Prates in the striking. Same goes for Ian Gary. Every second this fight is on the feet, I don't see Bilal Muhammad doing anything significant at all. And I see Ian Gary having the time of his life on the feet here. I don't think Ian Gary has to worry about a single thing in this fight. Obviously, in the Prates matchup, he had to worry about getting knocked out cold. In the Shavkat fight, he had to worry about getting submitted. I genuinely don't think that Ian Gary has a single thing to worry about here. He's not going to get KO'd. He's not going to get grapple fucked. He's not going to get submitted. Bilal Muhammad is not that good. And I think Ian Gary is going to have a standout performance here. And I think Ian Gary is going to get a knockout here. I said it. I think that Jack Della Maddalena is a way better boxer than Ian with way more power. So why does Ian Gary get to finish below and Jack doesn't? Simple. Jack Della Maddalena did a lot of damage to Bilal, and I do very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? I would be very surprised if Bilal was able to take anywhere near that amount of punishment going forward, including against JDM. So I think Ian Gary. Is going to go out there, beat up on him, get taken down a few times, maybe a minute here, a minute there of control time on the ground, but he'll get back up and, I just think he'll finish Bilal with like a head kick or something, like a head kick 1-2, like a head kick and then 1-2 down the middle. Head kick stumbles him. He's backing up, and then Ian Gary does a 1-2 down the pipe, maybe with an uppercut at the end, puts Bilal down. It's gonna be a TKO though, not a cold KO. And I do dislike Bilal Muhammad heavily, but me saying that he sucks doesn't have any bias towards it. Even if I liked Bilal, I don't think he's a good fighter at all. So, and that's just what it is at the end of the day. Yeah. Moving on. I think Ian's gonna win by knockout round 3. Moving on. Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. Oh my god. I can't help it. I'm going with Dan Hooker. I can't help but take Dan Hooker. I know that Arman Tsarukyan is good, and I agree that Arman Tsarukyan is better than Dan Hooker. I do. I think that Arman is more well-rounded. His wrestling is top tier. His striking, although not dangerous, is technically good. Um, and he is definitely more fit. He's way more athletic, way more athletic. He's got better cardio. He's he's got everything over Hooker. So why do I think Dan Hooker's gonna win? I just think that there's a difference in the damage that they are willing to go through. I think like Dan Hooker, man, I do got Dan Hooker, and I'm gonna tell you why. Armin has never been in a prolonged war where everything goes wrong, and I don't like that here for him. Um, Armin has never been in a prolonged war that everything goes wrong. Dan has been there, seen that countless times. Um, Dan has survived harder hitters, and other grapplers, um, and more dangerous pressure fighters as well. You know, Armin has only seen opponents wilt in front of him. Um, but Dan Hooker, throughout the course of his career, have been the fighter refusing to wilt in front of their opponent. So it's just like I think I think that Armin will be destroying him early, getting takedowns, ground and pound elbow. But I think the shift is inevitable, and Dan Hooker will put damage on Armin late that Armin doesn't want to take. I feel like I'm explaining this terribly, but what I'm trying to say is that Dan Hooker is going to be able to take the damage that Armin gives him more than Armin is going to be able to take the damage that Hooker gives him. And I know that Armin's a better wrestler, and he's a good wrestler. But I I just think that Dan Hooker will be able to scramble. One thing you can't give Dan Hooker on the ground is space. When you go for submissions or you go for ground and pound, you give space to your opponent on bottom. And Dan Hooker is a very underrated scrambler. And I feel like when Armin gives space, because Armin isn't a boring grappler. He does do damage. He does posture up. He does land elbows. I think if you do that against Dan Hooker, he's going to scramble back up to his feet. And he is much more dangerous on the feet than Armin. Armin's got no pop on his shots. You killed Benil Dariush. Welcome to the club. Benoit Saint-Denis just did that, right? Armin doesn't hurt people on the feet. And I be seeing Armin get hurt on the feet. Armin got stung by Oliveira. He got stung by unranked Joaquim Silva. Struggled to beat unranked Joaquim Silva. There are things I see in Armin's game that leads me to believe that if you show him resistance, he will let it crowd him because Armin is rich, came from a rich family, was rich growing up. Not that I'm clowning him for that, but he just hasn't, you know. Armin isn't used to things not going his way, and I'm gonna just keep it real. He's not used. He's not used to things going bad for him, and I don't see him beating Dan Hooker without massive resistance. And I think the resistance that Dan Hooker specifically gives will not bode well for Armin Tsarukyan. He's a harder puncher. He has nasty knees to the body, nasty knees in general. I can see Armin shooting for a takedown and getting and eating a knee to the face on the way down. You know, I see Dan Hooker winning just based off the damage and the damage they're willing to take. I don't see a scenario in which Dan Hooker I don't see a scenario in which Dan Hooker um, doesn't hurt Armin badly, and I don't know if I see a scenario in which Armin has the mental strength to recover from that moment. So I'm gonna go with Dan Hooker by knockout in round 4, maybe. Maybe this is a bad take for me. And if it is, I will eat my words. But something about this matchup, man. I like Dan Hooker here. So, yeah. I will say, though, Dan Hooker is my favorite lightweight. So maybe I am going to. Maybe I'm clouded by my love for Dan Hooker. And I don't hate Armin, but he's definitely not my favorite. But I could definitely see. As from the viewer's perspective, me picking Dan Hooker here in this matchup, given that he's my favorite, may seem like bias and the inability to pick against him, and I completely understand that. And maybe I am blind because of my because of my love for Dan Hooker. But we'll see. The fight's happening this weekend, so we ain't gotta wait that long. But I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. I'm gonna go eat dinner. Dinner's ready, and I don't want to get too cold, so I'm gonna go over all my picks real quick. I'm going with, just so there's no confusion, I'm going with Denzel Freeman, Shamrock, Ismail Nurdiev, Beksat Almakan, Abdul Rahman Yakyayev, Asua Mabayev, Sagid Izagakaimov, Luke Riley, Koiji Horiguchi, Shamil Gaziev, Mike Debek Oralbai, Volkan Uzdemir, Ian Machado Gary, and Dan the Hangman Hooker. I do have a Dan Hooker shirt. I'm not wearing it right now. I'm wearing a Dead by Daylight shirt. But I will be wearing the Dan Hooker shirt on Saturday to support the homie during this fight. And yeah, that's it. UFC Qatar, first ever event in Qatar. We'll see how it goes. There will probably be some bias towards Armin. I'm not making any accusations, but all right. Appreciate you guys for watching. I'm gonna dip out. I'm hungry. See you guys after the event.